Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Dragoon. And round 2 against Lloyd. Well, technically take 2 of round 2 against Lloyd, but you get the picture. This time we're going to show off a cheap little method of, well, I'm not sure how far you can lock them down because I don't normally do it, but let's fast forward through the animations we've already seen before. And there we go. I got 2 people to be able to guard. Ow, that hurt Albert a lot. That is painful. Anyway, the idea that goes along with this one is not something you can really make use of in, well, on this emulator, because it involves using Dragoons, which is why, as you can see, my Dragoon, or my SP levels have shot back up to max. Now, you don't actually want to use special. You want to, well, more than anything, give it to Albert, why not? I'll be working with him as well, but the idea is to turn one person into a Dragoon. Now, I'm going to beat up on him a little bit to, I don't know, just kind of simulate how the boss fight would go if this were, take 1. But the idea is to get somebody, doesn't matter who, in this case I'm going to choose Dart, and turn into a Dragoon. What this will cause Lloyd to do in his battle script is to attack that person. Now, he doesn't just use a normal attack, oh well, but what he does is he'll initiate instant death on whoever is in Dragoon form. However, if you have someone locked in Dragoon form, he'll tend to go after that person quite a bit more. Now, eventually, I'm going to start guarding to get his attacks in so that you can kind of see what he's going to do. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, he uses the Dragon Buster, as you know that he has. And the idea is that it's going to inflict instant death. However, if you have a talisman equipped, he fails miserably. Now, I'm just going to guard here and kind of show you the strategy that other people have pointed out to me. I didn't come up with this one by myself. Now, if you do want to use Dragoons for this fight, say you're playing on the original console or on the PSN or something like that, and you're not worried about the game glitching up, though it might on those versions as well. I'm not 100% sure. I don't recall. It's been so long since I've played on the original console, and I've never played the PSN version, so I can't really comment on that one. But if it's not an issue and you want to use Dragoons, you'll want to use them like we did in the Grand Jewel fight and use them for 1 turn. And that is one of the reasons why Albert is such a useful character in this fight, because if you're going to be using Dragoon form, you'll want to use his Rose Storm to block a lot of the damage that Lloyd will do, and that will be very useful, especially with his addition that he has on right now. Yeah, as you can see, he kind of gets locked into doing that. Now, you only have 2 talismans by this point, and if you equip both of them, say 1 to Dart and then 1 to Meru, or, normally you'd actually want to pick the characters who are slow. So this is a fight where Kongo could actually be very useful. As you can see, he's kind of going overkill on just using that and getting very single-minded, simple-minded, and yeah, he's basically screwed himself at this point because he's not doing any damage to me. He's just doing misses over and over again. Now he knows how I felt during the tournament, bastard. Anyway, that's all for this little bonus part here, and now we'll get into the meat of the video. And we're back, and yeah, so what I did after the last video is I did a little bit of backtracking back into here. You can actually go back up in here, though there really isn't a lot of point. But more importantly, we can now go over here, and this will become very, well, not critical, but very important. The Magician Faust. I've heard people call this guy Faust. everyone I've ever talked to, you know, teachers, professors, people in general have referred to this as Faust. It's a reference to the story of Faust, the play of Faust, the guy who made himself a bet with the devil, or Mephisto in the original version. That's what they referred to the devil as, about wanting to, like, he was bored. So they gave him, or well, the bet he made with the devil is, if, you know, the devil gave him the perfect woman. At least this is how I recall the story. I could be mistaken, but gave him the perfect woman, and because this guy was so intelligent and, you know, so content and so bored with life that he needed something interesting. So the devil gave him the perfect woman. And if he ever said that he was completely satisfied, he would, you know, he would lose his soul to the devil. And of course, by the end of the play, that's what happens. I can't remember the exact details. It's been a long time since I looked at that play, but anyway, that's a little story on that. In this case, he is not the same character. He is the Magician Faust, the commander of the super mobile Fort Flanville. Land of Taboo. Oh. Go await once. Ah, well, what is that anyway? Let's go over here, and yeah, even if he denies you access, you can still pick up this second therapy ring, which will be very useful. Now, if you encounter him, some of you may know what's going to happen. Some of you may not. Or you will lose your life. Ah, he couldn't possibly be that bad, could he? Let's just guard for now. I gotta get some HP back after that boss fight. Oh, it's not so bad. I guess he would have done 600. Gonna go again? Game. Oh, at least he's not going after Kongal. That probably would have hurt Kongal. Considering Hashel has semi-decent magic defense and 1,400 damage. Game, can I get a turn in, please? Game. Oh, crap. And it's Wind Elemental. Oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to one-shot Kongal. I don't even need to find out. Yeah, 2,700 damage. Run! Run very fast, very fast. Yeah, we're not supposed to fight this guy yet. If you actually attack him, you won't deal any damage, which would explain why we get this line of dialogue. You do no damage. It doesn't say miss. It doesn't say anything else. It just, you do the attack and that's it. No damage numbers, no miss indicator, nothing. Anyway, we're not supposed to fight him yet. We're not supposed to fight him for, well, till the end of the game. That is the super boss. Well, one of them. And so yeah, I'm going to backtrack most of the way out of, well, all the way out of Flanville and most of the way out of the Glacier, and I'll meet you on the other side. And we're back. Yeah, pretty much backtrack all the way up here, and now the only thing we can really do is continue on, though I'll go check and see if there's anything interesting to talk to, or anyone interesting to talk to back in the castle there. After one battle. Okay, we're back. Nobody particularly interesting in town, well, says anything particularly interesting. One interesting thing to note, and I didn't know this because I had never thought to go back. However, if you try to leave the Glacier and head back to town, Lloyd will leave your party. He's not actually in your party. Check it out, yeah. He's not in your party. He's just kind of, you know, joined alongside you for now. So, unfortunately, even though he's standing right next to us and we've been chasing him throughout the entire game, nobody seems to bat an eyelash at this, and we just kind of continue on. I did have a different party earlier, and the reason for that is I just used them on the way out and during my backtracking. This is going to be my new party for the upcoming area, mainly because this is the party I want for the boss, and if possible, I'd like Miranda to get her last Dragoon level before the boss. If not, I have ways around it, but it would be beneficial if she could get it now. And the other reason I went to the menu is because I have 18,000 gold exactly, and I'm childish and I find that amusing. Anyway, let's move on. Now, once, and only once, I had an issue here where it glitched out on the very first battle going through here. So I'm going to make a backup save file just in case, just because I'm paranoid and I don't want to have to do all that organization I just did, again. So do that. I'll be right back. By the way, to fix that glitch, if you happen to run into it, is just to avoid, or just to make a proper save file and then reload it. And it doesn't matter this time. Yeah, what'll happen if it glitches up is you'll get into the first battle on this area here before going into the snowfield, and you'll basically watch a little island of ice, the battlefield, spin around over and over and over and over again. Ah, it's pretty windy here. Let's pick up a chest here. Containing a burnout. Disc 3 and we're still getting burnout. Yay! Ah, here's a couple of new enemies. That'll fill some time. Now, there is one enemy I missed in the last area. I think you can encounter him here as well, and that's the mammoth. And he's big, he looks like a mammoth, earth elemental. He can poison you and he can stun you. He's got a lot of HP, so beware of that. These guys, let's see, what do we got here? We have bowling. The hell? He can use an all-out attack, which I'm not particularly worried about. And the white apes can escape, and that's their only interesting feature. Yay! You could continue to use the, without it poisoned him. You could continue to use, what is it, the heat blade in here, but there's less enemies here that are blue elemental, so I wouldn't recommend it. Might as well stick with the Mind Crush. I think that's the weapon I'm using, isn't it? There we go. Did I kill him? Aw, come on! I think he's got like 400 or 450 HP. But at least I, confused him, stunned him, did something to him. He's confused. Let's finish him off. Oops. I screwed up her addition. Okay, let's see if I can get a few attacks in. Yeah, like I said, all-out attack. I'm not particularly worried about it. This is kind of the point in the game where you can stop worrying like I have been about using Darts Edition in place of other characters. There are, he's got his final edition by level now, so you can go right, straight to the end, always using his, his additions during battle, and it would be a lot easier to do additions during battle if I would stop talking while I'm trying to do them. Anyway, and he falls down. Yeah, so I have no problems using him at this point. Midway through Disc 4, we'll be able to tackle that super boss, and I'll want his final edition to be maxed out for that fight, for the strategy that I like to use. So, anyway, we've had one battle, showed off 2 enemies, and now, because of how windy it is, Lloyd has something to tell us. And apparently the wind means it's a blizzard. Sure, okay. So yeah, we take a break here. And remember to press the start button on our timer. Oh boy. Make the world regenerate. Oh, that's Emperor Diaz. Well, how do you make the world regenerate? The ruins of Cadessa. Ah, would you look at that? So, does that mean that Emperor Diaz is a wingling? How else would he have gotten there? Well, how would you know about that? If you don't remember, Emperor Diaz was, the Emperor, one of the main people involved in, the humans' efforts in the Dragon campaign. So, it doesn't really, there's no way he could be living that long. There's no one else that we know that's been living that long. Oh, yeah. And now they're starting to talk about de-evolution, or devolution, or however you want to say that. Overture to destruction has already begun. Now, if only destruction would rain from the heavens, then we'd be in trouble. Well, there's a reason you're not using it as much. I think that's the basic idea, you know, they don't have as much power because over time they used less and less of it, became less and less, you know, required. That is where evolution comes into play. You know, oh, what's the mechanism behind evolution? Oh, my brain hurts. Why isn't it coming to me? Natural selection, that's the one. Okay. I'm happy I got the word out. So all species are facing the same problem. How can we regenerate? Well, that's what I asked at the start of this. Oh, the way he speaks here, he's not a wingly. Is he really Emperor Diaz the human from 11,000 years ago? Oh, yeah, Lloyd was talking about that. Is the last god. Well, that's interesting, I guess. And here we go again with the proverb that has basically been a major point of this game since Disc 2. Sends to the earth and shall give a holy blessing to the world. The moonchild of this legend is the last species. It's the god that gives holy bliss to the world. That's not true. That was Rose that said it, by the way. Oh, look at that. Why does the black monster kill the moonchild? I guess you wouldn't know. Wants to stop evolution after imagining himself scorched to death by the blessed light brought by the final species. Yeah, what do those objects actually do? So, the Winglies knew at one point in the distant past that they would eventually lose their, well, maybe not their magical ability, but their power over all other species, and they would no longer be like the supreme species. They sealed the 108th species so that it couldn't, I guess, evolve faster than them. It's kind of odd how, you know, they go back and you got to think, you know, over all these different races that have popped up. Say, I think dragons were 104, 105, something like that. You know, at one point they would have ruled the world. It's like some of the books I've been reading. The Legends of Dragon Realm, which is actually pretty cool. Talked about that before, but, you know, if they ruled at one point, then wouldn't, you know, the next species in line rule next? You know, humans and then Winglies. It's kind of odd how in this case the Winglies were ruling in the past, and now it's the humans that are, you know, basically the supreme species, if you want to use Lloyd's words. The signet. Oh, the signet is, I was confused there for a moment. The signet is the device or the source of power that seals the 108th species. And so that's what these moon objects do. They release the seal on the moonchild, or god. Now, again, I think I talked about this before when we saw the video, but the god that is the 108th species is not the same god Soa that created the Divine Tree in the first place. So it's a different god. I don't know. They don't really go into too much detail on it, but we do at least understand the difference between the two. Well, who else will? Yeah, see, here you go. They at least identify that they're different, but they don't go into too much more detail on top of that. Emperor Diaz will explain the rest of it, huh? He didn't. That was Emperor Diaz. What is Shauna to you, anyway? Well, apparently Emperor Diaz is going to do the plot dumping. Well, that's cool. And yeah, so no more wind sound effect, and the snow is falling slower. Therefore, the blizzard is over. I kind of like that the snow still falls because it creates a cool atmosphere, but it's also kind of weird considering the you know that they don't change all that much from blizzard to non-blizzard. Anyway, as you can see by the yellow arrow there, we have a free healing point in here, which you may want to use a few times throughout this area. But that's all the time I have for this episode of Let's Play Legend of Dragoon. Next time, we'll continue through the snowfields and maybe take a side trip. Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.